Hello everyone, it's 10 Types, and today we have even more new cards to look at, recently revealed on Pokebeach and other places presumably. And these are interesting. They're all going to be in Mask of Change, Mask of Change, which is going to be part of our Twilight Masquerade set coming in May. I think it's the 24th, that could be wrong, but it's coming in just under 2 months. So that's going to be really cool. Obviously, we need to wait a little bit for that. And also, I think in tomorrow's video, or maybe yesterday's video, I haven't decided my upload schedule yet, I'm going to be talking about the cards from Massive Change, or I guess the previous set, Crimson Haze, which is actually out in Japan. They are playing that. So that's really cool. But that's not for today's video. Today's video, we are going to be talking about these new cards. Starting off with this supporter here. It's Hassel. For some reason, it's not that big. But you can only play this if one of your Pokemon were knocked out during your opponent's last turn. Is it not usually was? I don't remember. Anyways, so this is good. It doesn't need to be from damage. It can be from effects like Mimikyu, but it cannot be a Mimikyu which like places damage counters or Sableye or something, or an instant knockout with Roaring Moon EX or Giratina V-Star. But also at the same time, it won't work with poison, right? Poison is in between turns, so that won't count, which is fine. That's to be expected. And then with this, what this actually does is look at the top 8 cards of your deck, put 3 of them into your hand, then shuffle the rest into your deck. Now, this is really good, right? This isn't insanely broken or anything, but this is really solid. Um, so let's take a look at Explorer's Guidance. I'm actually going to pull that card up, which is an okay card, or maybe Colus's Experiment. Yeah, let's do Colus's Experiment. Obviously, this is played in like Lost Zone decks. I'm going to scroll through the list, but it's played in not Lost Zone decks sometimes here, and not that often, but sometimes. So, the point is, it's a pretty good supporter, and it lets you look at the top 5, put 3 into your hand, put the rest into the Lost Zone. So this does not Lost Zone them, which, assuming you're not playing Lost Zone, is probably good, because you don't want to just be discarding or getting rid of a lot of cards from your deck, right? You just don't want to get rid of these random cards. So, um, yeah, this is really nice. Getting 3 is good. So draw 3 is weird. Um, it's the thing that exists a lot. There are probably like 5 or 6 draw 3 cards, like just straight draw 3 cards in standard, which aren't particularly good. They're not completely unplayably bad, I guess, but they're outclassed by other things. Most notably, Worker is essentially directly better, but Worker sees play, or at least pre-rotation it saw a lot of play. And there are cards like Avery, and there's like Faulkner, and there was Schoolgirl and Schoolboy. Those both are rotated, but they're a draw 4 conditionally, as well as Faulkner. And there are a lot of cards like this. And then Colossus Experiment, and then there's the new Explorer's Guidance, which is closer to this. Looks at the top 6, puts 2 in your hand, discards the rest. The really good thing here, though, is that you don't discard any of those cards. Obviously, you might want to discard some, but not most of them, right? You don't want to be discarding those other 5 cards. And you got 3, so this is pretty good. The issue is you can only use it if you're knocked out. So does it have enough like value? I think you'd probably mostly play this in single prize decks. It's kind of like the new Bruno, not exactly, but like the new Raihan, the support you play if you're knocked out last turn. And it's I think it's better than Cynthia's Ambition, which I think is the right card, which is draw till 5 or draw till 8 if you were knocked out last turn. And of course, it depends on the scenario, but I think Hazel's pretty good here, not broken or anything. But it's a really nice looking supporter that I think we'll see some play. I think there's a chance it doesn't, but I think it deserves to see some play, at least in single prize decks. Single prize decks aren't that good right now, which is the part of the issue, but I think it'll see some play. Next up, though, we have Alakazam and a Kadabra. We haven't seen one. We saw one in 151, but before that, we hadn't seen one in quite a while. But first of all, we have this Abra, and this card is kind of weird. Once your turn, if it's in the active, you may shuffle it and all cards attached to it into your deck. I don't know. It's kind of fun. It's a fun little ability. I don't know if we've seen anything exactly like this, but it's cool. There's not too much to say about it, but it's fun. I don't think it's very good. You can't really use it for walling because it only has 40 HP. You can get up to 140 with Hero's Cape. So you could do that, I guess, and then you can like wall clearance or something, but it's not that good. But it's a fun little ability that I think's neat. It can stop you from decking down, I guess, and I don't know. It's an ability. And then Kadabra here does 10, and well, it's the same as Alakazam's attack, but worse. So Alakazam here has its second attack we'll talk about first, which is Psychic, does 10, 50 more for each energy attached to your opponent's active. Kadabra does 10, 30 more for each energy attached. So Kadabra's damage output is underwhelming, but not terrible against certain scenarios. Alakazam is I don't know. Alakazam doesn't necessarily hit a ton. People were like thinking this was really good. Um, it's good in certain cases, right? Because if they have lots of energy, it's good. If they don't have any, like Chin Pow, it's essentially useless. It just does 10. So I think this attack's okay. But the other attack, the more important attack, is Strange Hack here. Your opponent's active is now confused. Move any number. Oh, I didn't realize it did confusion. So they're confused. Move any number of damage counters on your opponent's Pokemon to their other Pokemon in any way you like. We we saw this with Tapu Lele. There were two different Tapu Leles that were kind of the same Tapu Lele, different types, but the same everything else. And wait, was it the same art? Sorry, I want to check, but I'll pull them up. And it was not the same art. Okay, but there's this one, the promo, and it has Magical Swap, which is the same thing where you move damage counters around. Same thing as the ability on Dusk. What is it? Dusk Noir. I always forget which one's the stage two. But yeah, Dusk Noir, same ability, or its ability, but this one, Alakazam is an attack, so it's a little worse. But this is interesting. Confusion's like nice, I guess, but it's not that good, right? But then this can be really useful. So the idea is either you play it with the idea is you play it with spread, right? So you play a spread deck and then you just move damage counters around and hopefully win the game doing that. I don't know how good this will be. I think it'll be okay, but not amazing. It's a really fun concept, but it's a stage two, and the other attack is not useful. It's like okay, but it's not great. Hitting 50, 10, 10, 50 more for each energy attached to your opponent's active. Maybe you're hitting 160 at most against like a Pokemon that has more HP than that. So you're never really taking knockouts with the second attack, or at least not one shot. So that's a little unfortunate. I think this Pokemon's interesting. I don't think it's quite good enough. Yeah, I'm not sure. It's fun though. Also, the Abra is kind of fun. We'll see if we get any use cases. I can't think of any off the top of my head, but if you can, um, other than like I guess a pretty underwhelming counter to Snorlax, then yeah, I don't know. But lastly, we have a really interesting card that I wanted to talk about the most out of any of these. It's a Litwick Lampent, and it is Chandelure. You know, Litwick has Call for Family. I think it's actually not the Litwick you'd play. And no, you'd probably play Kindling Panic, which mills one. And why would you do that? Well, let's take a look at this Chandelure. Actually, no, that anyway, that transition was terrible. But Chandelure, it obviously stage two, it's fire. Once during a turn, you may use this ability. Each player draws a card, and then Mind Ruler. This attack does 30 damage for for each card in your opponent's hand. I just woke up, but yeah, that's pretty interesting. Um, so you do 30 for each card in your opponent's hand, and if they have, I mean, you're not really taking one shots on multi-prizers, and and you're also like feeding their hand, which isn't really amazing, but that's the thing, right? So you can like attack with this and get each player gets a big hand, and it's cool, I guess. And then they Iono, and then you're kind of sad, right? But that's not where this ends, or in my opinion, really even where it starts. Where it starts is control, right? So you want to pair it with Erica's Invitation. Um, you could also pair it with other hand disruption cards, notably Airy, right? You could pair it with Grabber, but that's kind of silly. You'd probably pair it with Erica's Invitation or Airy. I think Airy could be useful. But obviously, that's not when you're doing these. You're not necessarily attacking with Chandelure. So you force them to draw more cards, and then you use Erica's Invitation, and they hopefully have a basic in their hand. and they're not like discarding it or like putting it back into their deck or something. So this is really interesting. I think this is a really solid idea. Obviously, it is a bit of a draw engine, but it's not a super powerful one, and you're giving your opponent cards. You're not just feeding their hand to be able to Erika's Invitation them or to Airy them. You're um, also feeding their hand so that they can actually do more stuff. So that's kind of scary for you, but you need to hope that things work out, I guess. And then you do have the other Chandelure, which is really good, which pretty much what it does is when you evolve into it, you mill 3 from the top of your opponent's deck. It's not amazing, but it is okay. It has seen some play, I promise. Maybe not in these tournaments. Let me check. Oh, yeah, no. So some people have played it with the Ursaluna Pidgeot control. Um, This deck's really cool. I don't actually know why it runs. Oh, never mind. So it's a really fun deck. I haven't actually played this deck. Maybe I should play it. But pretty much what you do is you go in with Pidgeot EX and Ursaluna, and then you go ahead and Chandelure, and you like recycle it. It's kind of neat. Um, yeah, it's kind of weird. It's kind of a weird deck as well. Apparently plays medical energy as well. I've not played this deck. It seems fun, but it also seems kind of weird. Anyways, so this is a deck, and you compare it with this other Chandelure. You probably wouldn't. I don't know. You might drop Pidgeot for like a thick Chandelure line, but it's kind of sketchy then, obviously, because Pidgeot's much better than Chandelure, right? But I don't think you can fit all of them in together. But I do think you could kind of do something with the Chandelure as a control style deck or like a mill deck. Um, More likely, mill and control. Usually those go together. This would be more mill focused than many control decks. But anyway, that's all I have for today's video. If you enjoyed, consider liking, subscribing, hitting the bell, all that good stuff. Comment your thoughts down below as well. I think these cards are really interesting. I think Hassle's pretty good. I think Alakazam honestly isn't that good. I wasn't, um, but it's fun. I really like this first attack. I don't know if it'll be good enough because it's a stage 2, but it's fun. And Chandelure looks really interesting for control / mill. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed, and I'm excited to see you in the next video.